What's going on, y'all? Brother Doug here. Just got back from seeing Jungle Book. Now, if Walt Disney was still alive, he would be proud of this movie. Because for those that don't know, I'm a big Disney fan and I know a lot about history and I'm an entertainment buff and a trivia buff at that. Walt Disney's last movie that he actually had, overseeing final say on was this movie, Jungle Book, the original, back in 1967. And to this day, the animated movie is my mother's favorite movie. So this year, Batman vs Superman, Cap 3, aka Civil War, and this movie were my top three movies to see this year. My most anticipated movies to actually watch, and it definitely did disappoint. Going into this, I was like, tired of Disney remaking all the classic movies like Maleficent. I saw Maleficent, wasn't feeling that. Alice in Wonderland, wasn't feeling that either. I don't think I'm going to see the second one. Cinderella, I didn't check that out. Well, I didn't really like the animated version to begin with. And then they came out with Jungle Book. I'm like, I was like, okay, what do you, Disney, you're twisting my arm. My thing was the animated version is awesome as it is, so why, tamper with it? But after watching this movie, I can say without a doubt this movie needed to be made. It was just so awesome, y'all. So I didn't see it in 3D, but I can tell some of the scenes that were meant for 3D definitely stood out in the 2D version. So their approach for this movie, they definitely had some elements from the animated movie that we know and love, as well as moments from the book that you all know and love. Because I didn't read the book. However, I will say this: I read snippets of the book, and man, it's pretty dark and grim. Like no wonder Disney didn't adapt that back in the '60s. Like, okay, yeah, you took a good approach because there are certain original aspects that he added to the movie that don't pertain to the book. Like King Louis, for instance, and Shanti. I'll explain more on that during my spoiler half. 'Cause really, what's amazing about this film was that it wasn't shot in India. It wasn't shot in the jungle. It was shot in L.A. on a soundstage. Like, wow. I was watching the B-roll footage. Man, I was just so impressed. Like, man, that little boy did some acting. And I tell you, the landscapes were just so beautiful. Like, I kind of wish I did see it in 3D just so everything could just, come to fruition. Like, man, this is so beautiful. So my hats off to Jon Favreau, who directed, Iron Man and Iron Man 2, as well as Elf. He's an awesome director. So the young actor Neil Setti, who plays Mowgli, definitely reminded me of myself when I was around his age, or even younger, because there'd be dogs, pigeons, little goats. I just love animals. Another standout character, without a doubt, was Baloo, played by Bill Murray. Baloo was just crazy. He was silly. He was just so sloth. Scarlett Johansson was in this movie, and she voiced Kaa, who in the books and the original movie was a boy. Her role was more so a cameo. I mean, Kaa, this ain't really a spoiler because, Kaa, just put it like this, y'all. That scene that you see in the previews, that's how long Kaa's in this movie. Like, really, he was only in this, she, Kaa was only in this movie for like a minute. Like, huh? It was like I could have voiced Kaa, perhaps. Wait till the spoiler half. As I said before on a previous video, Disney know how to make some villains. I tell you that. I wish they can give their what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, some of their credentials over to Marvel, in the villain department because, you know, there hasn't really been a memorable Marvel villain as far as the movies go. In the comics, that's a different thing. But as far as the cinematic universe, Loki, but Loki's more so an anti-hero, and Ultron was a good one, but I mean, a real standout villain, like Scar, Jafar, Maleficent, Master Xehanort, if you play the Kingdom Hearts series. And Idris Elba, he definitely brings that to the table with Shere Khan, with this version of Shere Khan. I don't remember Shere Khan being that menacing in the animated version, but he was definitely disturbing in this movie. I had little kids crawling up to their mommies, trying to shield their eyes and whatnot. I'm like, oh. But as well as the books and the movies, Shere Khan's agenda is still the same. He hates man and he wants Mowgli out because he's a man cub. And this movie has a glass eye. So the big question is, how does Shere Khan get that glass eye? Now, during the scene with King Louis at his temple, you all seen it in the preview, so don't give me that, oh, spoilers and all that. When Mowgli was looking around his temple, you could see Genie's lamp, from Aladdin. I noticed that, and I'm surprised no one else noticed. I love when the songs came on, like Bare Necessities, Want to Be Like You. The audience was singing along. I was clapping along too. Like, these songs are memorable. Disney also has that, memorable villains, memorable characters, memorable songs like bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. Take it away. So, should you spend your money this weekend to go watch Jungle Book? I say absolutely. Walt Disney will be proud. If you love the original movie, you'll be proud. If you love the books, you'll be proud. There's a different approach to the ending. I'll get to that in a minute with my spoiler half. But overall, this movie gets a 5 out of 5. There actually really wasn't any flaws, at least none that I can think of at the moment. So, with all that being said, I'm about to get into spoiler territory. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely go check it out. If you have seen the movie, stick around. If you don't care about spoilers, hey, stick around. Here comes the spoilers. Welcome to the spoiler half. So during the beginning of this video, I mentioned the original characters like King Louie and Shanti. And just a few seconds ago, I mentioned the ending kind of changed from the original animated movie. So in this version, Mowgli stays in the jungle. So there was no Shanti. At the end of the original animated movie, he went back into the man village. I mean, he does go back to the man village, but briefly, only to get a torch to, defeat Shere Khan with. But they changed that part a little bit too, because in the original animated movie, Mowgli used the fire to defeat Shere Khan, tied it to his tail. In this movie, he throws it away. Perhaps Shanti shows up in the sequel. Also, on the non-spoiler section, I mentioned Kai was more so a cameo. So, Baloo came, whooped Kai's butt, but Kai didn't die. So supposedly Kai returns in the sequel. Because also I did some research about Kai in the books. Kai is actually a good guy. He's more so like a wise person in the jungle. Giving Mowgli advice and kind of like Bagheera. But yeah, he's a good guy. Just like I found out that Hades in the Hercules in the Greek mythology, Hades is actually a good guy, but Disney made him a villain for obvious reasons. He has the name Hades, aka Hell. Now during the credits, King Louis performs, "Want to Be Like You," but during the film, the audience thinks that he dies because the temple collapses on him. But during the credits, there's like a little pop up book thing, and he comes out of the temple and starts singing. So I'm thinking, are they alluding to what's gonna happen in the sequel? King Louis returns because King Louis is an original character. Disney created him, but the possibilities are endless. So again, Rudyard Kipling would be proud. The original author of the book. Walt Disney would be proud. You, the fans who love the original, would be proud. Those that love the books would be proud. This movie was just amazing, y'all, and definitely didn't disappoint. So without further ado, which version did you prefer, or do you prefer, as in general, the animated movie or this movie? What's your favorite Jungle Book adaptation? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and like always, deuces, and forget about your worries and your strife.